What's jabelin' jables? What's thumpin' hypers? Okay, here's the deal. I'm not going to show you a picture of it, but we've all seen those leaked paparazzi photos from the new Batman movie, Robert Pattinson on a bike. And you're thinking to yourself, that looks cool. That looks badass. Man, is that from a comic book? I would really like to read a comic book that could be inspired by. Well, guess what? On a very special episode of today's show, then that's what it's going to be. You're going to get a recommendation for a Batman on a bike on today's Hex Rex. What's up, hyper homies? Welcome back to another episode of Hex Rex. We got a special one. We got a quick one. This one is getting a quick turnaround.
That's right.
Because we're filming Friday.
Why? Because we're talking motorcycles?
We're talking motorcycles. That's quick. Yeah. I mean, these photos were unfortunately leaked today. We could talk about the photos for a little bit. I know you got thoughts.
Of course.
And it was unfortunate because you know that Matt Reeves, the director, and the whole team, they would want the Batman look to be sort of premiered in a specific way.
Right.
And then we had paparazzi photos.
Today. The Italians showed up.
I mean, there's no secrets anymore. It's been spoiled. The ears, the ear shape, but then the bike. So he's on this cool, and it's not just like it's not like a sleek like bat bike. It's kind of like a dirt bike.
It's almost like a dirt bike. It looked like a BMW, maybe an R100. I'm not sure exactly
R100,
what it is.
That's what I was gonna say.
Oh yeah, you knew it was R100.
For sure.
Those things are heavy.
I got that bookmarked.
So seeing that guy fall on that bike.
I know.
Hector laughed his ass off.
Well,
because it was funny, but he has his reasons why, and they're actually legitimately funny. But also, dude, it's so dangerous to be riding in the rain. You never ride in the rain, but they're making this guy ride in the rain, and he looks
because it's Batman.
Because it's Batman. Because he should be riding in the rain.
Because Batman's perfect. But that's very dangerous to do that.
But it's dangerous.
Don't try this at home.
It's also, you were right, Hector. I didn't think about it the way you did. It sucks the coolness out of like the Batman mythos.
Takes away the myth.
For sure, because realistically, guys, riding in the rain is a very bad idea.
And very dangerous.
On cobblestone.
Let's try to bring some of that myth back. Because the first thing that I thought of,
this stuff is really cool.
First thing that I thought of when those photos on that bike leaked was a specific image from a comic book storyline and kind of a mini DC event called 0 Year. And I mistook it. I thought it was Year 0 because I'm so used to Batman Year 1.
Right.
But I thought, this comic book thing that was right in the middle of Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo's epic Batman run was called Year 0. No. 0 Year.
0 Year
is what it's called. 0 Year. So it was the first thing I thought of, and I actually went and picked up both of these books today.
Oh, you
but,
did?
Yeah, I did. But I actually did read this first one, and so this is what the Hex Rec is. All right. I'm going to tell you right now, I haven't read the second part, but I'm so confident that the entirety of 0 Year is dope that basically you're going to want to read it.
Gotcha.
But I didn't want to start people with like the second part. I wanted to start people with the real beginning of this thing, and I'm going to kind of break this down and explain what this is, all right? The point is...
Wait, let me see this. I need to see this bike.
Go for it. Look through it. And some of you watching right now might be thinking, you're speaking to the choir, heck. I've already read this comic book. I know about it. But look, we all know there's tons of people who love superhero movies that will never read a comic book. That's what we're trying to talk.
And I think it's also to give some context. Like when Captain Marvel, the first images came out, people were like, "Why is the outfit green and blue?"
Those aren't the colors. I remember that because I was the one that was like, "This is cool because it's like the Kree outfit. It's the Kree uniform. Those colors."
And I think that kind of leads into the conversation of like why studios are sometimes hesitant for stuff to be released like that.
Sure.
And I know even today, Warner Brothers apparently, I don't know how true this is, but apparently they were like freezing or shutting down, suspending Twitter accounts that were resharing the photos.
Oh, wow.
I wouldn't be surprised.
But,
really?
So I understand from their perspective that, like, without context, you look at the costume and you're going to have an opinion about it. I thought it looks really, really cool.
I want to try to provide some context, right? What do we know about The Batman, the movie? The working title, The Batman, is that it is maybe like he's in his second year of being Batman and being a crime fighter, a bit younger.
It's your handmade costume.
Dude, exactly. So this is what I want to talk about. If you don't know, in 2011, the New 52 happened, that sort of company-wide relaunch. Batman got his new #1. So it's technically, this is only the second volume ever of Batman comics, so we kept going. And in this new volume, it was Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo from the beginning. The first story arc is Court of Owls. At this point, it's epic. At this point, again, I'm telling you stuff that you might not already be aware of. But when we get to volume 4, this is what you're holding in your hands right now is volume 4, Augustine. Now, we're completionists, so we're going to tell you, dude, if you want to get into this and you haven't yet, go do volumes 1, 2, 3, because you get to 4.
Click on the link below, actually.
Yes,
Find those comics.
But that link is going to be specifically just for volume 4, and I'll tell you why. Because I'll say, yes, you need you'll get that cool context if you read Court of Owls and then get to here. But even if not, even if you're like, Hector, shut the hell up and give me the comic with Batman on a motorcycle. Here it is. It's 0 year. This first part is called Secret City. The second part is called Dark City. Not to be confused with the movie Dark City. And then there was even a third paperback collection that they put out that was DC Comics 0 Year, which had a couple of different tie-ins where like a bunch of different characters had their own stories that dealt with this 0 year. This is supposed to be, this is how the story is set up, okay? This takes place when this comic came out 6 years ago, which is supposed to be a little bit, basically like the beginning. This is really the new origin of Batman. It's similar
like
to Batman.
2005, you could say.
Right.
Okay.
It's similar to Batman Year One.
Yeah.
But it updates it and remixes it. And what's really cool is that it's not just Batman Year One, a retelling. It kind of looks at a bunch of Batman mythology from across every era and kind of picks and chooses things. Like it explains where the penny comes from, or at least there's a new explanation for the giant penny. That kind of cool stuff that if you're a Bat fan, you're going to get a kick out of. There's some epic moments that harkens back to right here. Read these out loud.
Bruce Wayne, all beat up, black eyes everywhere, fat lips. He says, "Yes, father." Looking at a bust of his father with a bat on its head.
I shall become a bat. And that line is from like an old school Batman comic. That's something that I feel like Frank Miller was hearkening back to, but this one, anyway, it's just a cool remix.
I see it now. And this is after a stunning ass beating by by the Red Hood. Not the Red Hood. Who are these guys?
I don't want to spoil too much about the story, but here's the cool thing, right? Like I said, this takes place 6 years ago. Here's an establishing shot of Gotham City. Boom, 6 years ago. But other than that, you really can jump into this as like an origin of Batman. Truly. You don't need to know anything. And then the cool thing is that Batman on the motorcycle, which I'm going to put up right now, that image right there. Boom. This epic image, which is at the very, very, very beginning of the book, it shows you that this thing happened 6 years ago, and Gotham City almost looks like I Am Legend. Like it's like in bad shape.
So he's basically riding a dirt bike in a field.
And that's supposed to be Gotham.
And he has a bow and arrow on his back.
Remember when Will Smith was hunting in Times Square? It's like that.
That's what it looks like.
And so this image made me think of these leaked photos. And then you turn the page, and it'll say, this is crazy, it'll say 5 months earlier.
Gotcha.
So this story for this first volume is what kind of happens in this 5 months, this first part of 0 year. And then this next part is you kind of jump into... I don't want to give away too much, but I'm gonna give away a little bit.
Declares himself a bat.
So for that 5 months earlier image, boom, it's right there. You can see right off the bat. Classic Batman villain, the Red Hood, who now we know has sort of retroactively been turned into the Joker. So not only is this Batman's origin, but, dude, it's the Joker's origin.
Dude, this
art
is
dope.
amazing.
This art is Greg Capullo at his finest. The colors are sexy.
The colors
are
great.
just
It's just blue and pink. It's like blue and pinks.
So
I see what they did there.
So the main threat...
Ooh, this is spicy.
It's very spicy.
Ooh.
The main threat that... I was so happy to read this today.
Yeah.
That Bruce Wayne is dealing with here, along with his ally Alfred, and they have a great relationship in this book, is the Red Hood gang and what they're doing to Gotham and sort of what they represent, and it's dope.
Yeah.
Bruce is 25 years old in this. Like I said, new origin. It's kind of like Batman Year One. It's fresh and modern. There's moments that are high tech, like James Bond. This is all indicative of the Scott Snyder run, but it's like it can be so crazy, but it still feels like it's Batman.
Right.
So as I'm reading this, I'm like, dude, I wonder if Matt Reeves has taken any of it. You know what I mean? Because we've never had that. We've had elements of it in the Dark Knight trilogy.
I will tell you, I did flip through this,
Yeah.
and there's a character in here that I think is going to be very pivotal for the movie.
Let me see. Which one?
Ooh,
Can I guess, but not say it?
I think
How are you
this
gonna
is.
do that?
I think.
I don't know.
Well, I don't know if you guys will be on the same page, but that would be impressive. But here's something to note: Batman has
Batmobile is sick.
Paul Dano. Who's Paul Dano playing?
Edward Nashton.
I like how you didn't say the Riddler because maybe he's not that yet. So this, at least this first chunk, we meet and I'm going to show you the image right now. Boom. Edward Nygma's in this, right? A early version of the Riddler, but he's not the Riddler yet because there's not even a Batman yet. But he's also sort of in this storyline, even though the main threat is the Red Hood gang and the man who will most likely become the Joker, even though it's still wrapped in mystery and it's really cool. So that's kind of who Bruce Wayne is maybe squaring off against. Like I said, there's great Easter eggs in this, and I want to show you one specific one in here. It is like I said, Bruce Wayne and Alfred have a kind of tough relationship in this first chunk, but something kind of they go through some stuff, and like there were moments that made me choke up, and I'm like, this is some great Bruce and Alfred stuff. I like it when these stories explore Bruce and Alfred. He's not just a butler. He's not just a man.
And when you have Andy Serkis and Robert Pattinson,
homie.
So check this out. In terms of, again, not just comic book Batman, but like Batman in pop culture, guys, does this look familiar to y'all? That image right there, boom. Does that remind you of anything?
Oh my
Does that
God.
remind you of anything? Does that remind you of anything? So I'm like, did Greg Capullo really do this?
I think he did
That's
do that.
amazing.
Now,
He
this is
just
still-
updated it.
This is still an intense moment, but you have
He-
Alfred slapping Bruce Wayne.
He also left it with no caption so that
Yeah.
anybody could meme it.
Interpret their own
Anybody
thing.
can meme it.
Yep.
So that to me was like, oh, this is a love letter to all things
Yeah.
Batman,
Yeah.
like every facet of him in pop culture, and that was a great little kind of an Easter egg or a reference. Along with
I
that,
like that
I
it's
shall
still very
become a
much
bat.
like Art Deco style, almost.
It is.
Almost not even like steampunky, but like 1920s looking tech.
It's
kind
impressive. You
it's
know,
fantastic.
it's tough to oversell the art of Greg Capullo,
Dude, this
truly,
is solid
because it
stuff.
is. I mean, he came from the world of Spawn. He'd done Spawn for years, and when he got on Batman at first with that first story arc, The Court of Owls, and I first read those first like New 52 issues, I'll be honest, I was like, I don't know if this is working for me.
Yeah.
But the more I read, the more I went, it is somehow so comic booky, but so grounded and so emotional and just cool as shit. Like he's knocking all of these out of the park to where, yeah, there's moments where I'm like, this is real. This is so good. And there's other moments where I'm like, this is insane. What's even happening? But it is all, I think it's all held together in the best way from by Scott Snyder's writing. So both of those guys, I mean, people have said it before. They said, this is an all-time Batman run. I agree from like the chunks that I've read.
Yeah.
And reading this for the first time, this 0 year, has made me want to go back and start from the beginning, that's sort of volume 1, and then finish it out. I mean, that's just...
And get a motorcycle.
And get him. That's epic with a capital E, brother.
We've already been shooting arrows, so now we just got to get
That's right,
motorcycles.
right.
And
So
now we're good to
once you're done with this Batman Volume 4 0 year Secret City, which the link again is down below, and again it's in stock trades. I don't know how many times I have to tell y'all. 35% off minimum, oftentimes 40% off. You get orders over $50, it's free shipping.
Yeah.
So you can kind of do a little bit of shopping. You're gonna also want to get Volume 5.
Yeah.
Right.
We've recommended
0 year
enough comics
Dark
at this
City.
point that you
Yes.
should be able to get that.
At least a
Yeah.
$50
Yeah,
order.
at least.
And then if you wanted to, and I haven't read it yet, but if you're just vibing on this whole 0 year thing, then check out the DC Comics 0 year little collection and
Yeah.
all those tie-ins and stuff. And I believe you're telling me this is already on Comixology Unlimited.
Yeah, if it's on it's on Comixology Unlimited, and you can borrow it, which means like you don't get to own it permanently, but you can read through
Read it.
and then you're like renting it basically.
And I'm pretty sure that this section of the run is also on DC Universe. If you
Yeah,
have
oh,
that,
yeah,
because they have
for sure.
comics
I
on
wouldn't
there.
be
But
surprised.
but again, I'm giving you this link because I love my trade paperbacks.
Yeah. This is my preferred way of reading comics.
My
for sure.
preferred
me
way of
too.
reading comics because
Agreed.
digital's great, but I love to do digital to see if I'm like, is this comic good?
Yeah, am I interested?
Yeah.
Great.
And if I am, this is an addition to the library, and I'm so happy about these additions to the library. So,
Also,
yeah.
if you ever have children, you're just going to be like, one day, son, off the
All of
shelf
this will be yours.
and into your
Yes.
hands.
Except there in the shadow.
Except not that one yet.
Those are mine.
Those are Invincible
I'm still
comics that you
collecting.
can't read yet.
That's
Don't
signed.
touch.
Don't touch that. Those are signed Invincible comics. So if you saw those images, those leaked images, and you go, that's badass,
Yeah.
I'd like to see what maybe some of this could be inspired by. Bonus, this is an origin for Batman, early Batman in his career. We might see even more of this. We might see this version of Edward Nygma. And
Yeah.
different,
Yeah.
I know Penguin's in this. And
Penguin is
he's
in
in
that
the
one,
movie.
yeah.
So, like, you might see some of this stuff. I wouldn't be surprised in the upcoming film. So that is your Hex Rec for the day. And we really appreciate it. So, again, click the link below. It will help us out because we can, hopefully someday get sponsored by In Stock Trades or some other company. And tell your friends about us and share whatever. Like, subscribe, smash the buttons. You know what to do.
Before we go,
Yeah.
what did you guys think of the suit when you saw it on the leaked photos?
I really like the suit. It was beefier than I imagined from the
Because a
first.
lot of people
that-
were like, Rob
yeah.
Pattinson's a skinny man. I'm
Right.
like, yeah, but wait till he
Right.
puts that suit on.
But once he puts the suit on, you get beefy. And we saw the Superman suit that, what's his name,
Nicolas Cage?
Nicolas Cage wore.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, they buffed that up a little bit.
I mean,
A
even
little
Brandon
bit, a
Routh's
lot of
suit
it.
in the
Yeah, yeah,
Kingdom
yeah.
Brandon
Come
Routh's suit,
Superman
yeah.
suit.
So
I mean, he looked great.
they'll beef him up a little
Yeah.
bit. But I think this was just camera testing purposes still. Like, I think they were still trying to figure out the bat bike. I think they're still trying to figure out how the costume will move.
Yeah, apparently that location that they were shooting out in Glasgow, it's supposed to be the Arkham Asylum, Arkham Hospital.
Yeah,
set.
see? So that's what I'm guessing is that they're still in the early phases of production and still figuring out, like, how are we going to get a good bat suit that moves? How are we going to get
love
this
that photo.
bike moving? How are we going to – just like when they tested out Christian Bale's Batman suit. Like, they did extensive testing
Yeah.
to make sure that the cape was not going to get caught in that bat bike.
Right,
you
and
know?
that's the
good
only
point.
reason that him and the stunt team were even able to wear a cape was because of the design of the bike.
Because of the
a lot of
design,
people
yeah.
have been talking about like, well, this Batman doesn't have a cape. I'm like, well,
Right.
one of two things. Either just
Right.
like in the comic book, he may not have it for certain
Right.
things.
Yeah.
Or they're gonna add it in post and CG.
They will add it in
I am
post.
totally okay with him not having a cape for the
Right.
entire movie.
I don't know if anybody's ever
Meaning-
ridden motorcycles.
I just want to say,
I haven't yet.
meaning, I don't need him to have the cape on in every scene.
Yes.
But I
so
do
when
want-
you ride
he
a
will have
motorcycle,
cape.
if you're riding between like 0 and maybe like 45 miles an hour, you're fine.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a wind guard, and imagine if you have a cape going 60 miles an hour, you will
parachute.
be pulled off the bike. You will
Parachute.
literally
Yeah.
fly off the bike
Wow.
because it will act like a parachute.
Wow.
And the
You're
cool
100%
thing that
correct.
you can see in that costume also is he's got some sort of like lenses over the
He
mask.
does have lenses,
a
yeah,
lot of people
and
are like,
he's got like a huge like Ben Affleck chin.
Yeah,
You know?
which that was the stunt driver,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
he has the tracking marker so they can add
Right,
Robert
right,
Pattinson. But I think it looks really cool. A lot of
Yeah,
people are also
I
saying
think it
like, I
looks
want to
great.
see the Batmobile. I kind of would be totally okay if there's no Batmobile in this
Yeah.
movie.
He only
Yeah.
rode around on a motorcycle.
Because think
I'd be
about it, it's
so
year
happy.
2.
Yeah, man.
A vehicle like the Batmobile, for all of his advanced tech,
Yeah.
Right.
I imagine that's a huge undertaking
Yeah, yeah,
for
yeah.
somebody
He
like Batman.
probably
And here's-
couldn't build one in 6 months.
Here's a spoiler: no Batmobile in this,
Yeah.
but he got the bike. But you just
There
look
is
through,
something in there
and
that you
it's-
might like.
You want it to be a
Yeah.
moment when you
Yeah.
see it. You don't
Yeah.
want it to just be like, oh, I've had one.
and
'cause
it's
it's like-
pretty cool.
That's a
Yeah.
deflated moment. You want that Batmobile to
Yeah.
be a moment.
Yes.
So yeah, I think it looked dope. And more than anything, I saw it and I went, I really want to see this on film. I really want to see this,
Yeah.
color corrected. I really want to. It's just
Yeah.
always
No,
unfortunate
absolutely.
with the paparazzi.
Italian friends.
You know what? I think they kind of knew what they were getting themselves into.
That's why they released
They're out
that
in
camera
public.
test footage.
Yeah. They're out
Okay,
in public.
They
okay.
did the
Like,
same thing with Suicide Squad.
Okay.
And,
you
and,
can't
know.
not expect people to show up to a Batman
Yeah.
shoot. Like no
Yeah.
matter where
It's
you
fun.
are.
People are gonna forget these photos. Like once we
Right.
see the trailers,
Yeah.
the movie,
Yeah.
whatever.
Absolutely.
Like that's all.
I remember
yeah.
one time driving around downtown LA, seeing them filming the third Nolan.
Oh,
Batman.
Dark Knight Rises.
And
I remember you told me about
remember?
that.
So me and my buddy were driving down the street, and the bat wing was on a crane swinging down the street, and
That's
I'm like,
cool.
oh, that's great! Like
Yeah.
that's cool. They're doing this out here in public. It's awesome. It's
That's
really really
awesome.
cool.
That's
and
dope.
like the Matrix stuff that they're filming. right
Yeah.
now.
San
all that
Francisco.
stuff is
On the
out on the
bike.
street right now. Like they're doing it on purpose. It's
Yeah.
very much out there on
Yep,
purpose.
Yep. Cool. Yeah, guys, I think that's pretty much it.
Go read some comic books, damn it.
I hope
Yeah,
that
you
people go read some comics because these are especially dope. And we'll be back sooner than you think with a new episode of Hex Rack. Wow! All right. Now I could do Black Canary.